With my new 19-inch wheels, I need new 19-inch tires, but more than that, I decided to go wider all around, 30 millimeters in the front and 30 in the rear. So that means my fronts are now 255s instead of 225s, and my rears are now 275s instead of 245s. The tire I chose is the Firestone Indy 500. This is a high-performance tire that's made of great quality, but it's not at a super expensive price. It's pretty affordable, it still gives you good performance. Perfect for a vehicle like mine that's not overly high-end or expensive, but I want still good performance. These tires arrived, and I really like the look. You can see how big each tread block is. They should still be good in the rain, but in the dry, they should be amazing. I'll show you now sort of how they compare to my stock tires before the full installation. Here I am comparing the new tire compared to the stock tire, and you can see it's much wider and the tread is much thicker with each groove and much more aggressive. I can't wait to get these on and test them out. Next, I'll go up and check out the front as well. This shows a good size difference between the front tires of how much wider the new one is and how much more aggressive the tread is. I can't wait to get these on and give them a test. I think I should get a lot more front end grip, obviously, and maybe even a little more steering feel. The last comparison I'm making is between the front and rear tires. So not only is the rear tire obviously wider, but the way the Genesis Coupe came, it's a little staggered, and you can see it's actually a little bit taller overall as well. That's because it's a 275/35 while the front is a 245/35. Okay, enough talk about the tires. Let's see how they look on the car, and more importantly, how they feel behind the wheel. Okay, the tires are now on, and I gotta say, I love the look, the width, everything about the tires. If you look at the rear here, compared to what it used to be, it's just so wide and it's pushed out, and it's got a great sort of stance and presence now. From the back down low, it just looks so nice. Up front, it's a similar story. I really like the way the wheel fits with the tire. The tire's right at the edge. I don't like the stretch look at all, so this is nice that it's sort of a flush mount to the wheel. I like the width, and from the front down low, it looks great, just like the back. These are a little narrower up front, as is the case with all Genesis Coupes, but overall, I really like the way they look. But more importantly, let's see how they grip on an on-ramp. Got a nice one right here. I can feel everything the car is doing. It is great. I can feel the front and the back kind of wagging back and forth, controlling where they're going. And there's so much grip, I'm sure, but it's not just the grip, it's the confidence and the feeling. I can definitely feel sort of what the tires are doing and where the limit's going to be. I'm nowhere near the limit, which I don't want to be on public roads, but it starts to give you a little warning saying, hey, you're kind of getting there, just slow down a little. So much grip, so responsive. Genesis Coupe steering isn't that great, and this has improved it because I think it's just there's more weight and more heft, so it's making the steering work harder, and I can feel a bit more in return. So hey, I'll take it. Now, as I said in the wheel review, this tire wheel combination doesn't have any sort of penalty in ride quality. I was expecting when you get the shorter sidewall, the wider tire, the larger wheel, it would get a little rougher, a little bumpier, but no, it drives very smooth. If anything, I think it's a little better because these tires are new, and I also find the car tracks straight much better, especially at freeway speeds. It was probably more 14-year-old wheels with old tires that were causing an issue before, but with these ones at freeway, I'm just going straight. It's just, there's no need to keep correcting like I had to before. So that's the benefit of getting new wheels and tires alone. Okay, so we've gone over how these tires perform on the road, but the reason I bought these high performance tires that still provide a lot of value is I plan to also do a couple track days. So what better place to test them out than here at the track? I'm gonna drive them for a couple laps, see how the heat is, see how long the grip lasts, and at the end of the day, we'll see how much wear has been on them, and if it takes care of some of my problems, like how my inside rear wheel will always spin due to the high gearing and open differential. I don't expect the tires to completely transform the car or make me so much faster, but I think it'll give me a little more feel and a little more grip around the track, so let's go out and see if I'm right or wrong. Okay, so how do the tires feel? Well, really good. The amount of grip I have is so much more than I was expecting. It's quite nice. The biggest problem is my brakes. They definitely need an upgrade, but As far as the tires, like, it feels pretty neutral. I had to turn my traction control off because changing gears will still break them loose, even when they're this wide, which is incredible. But I'm really impressed. I can play with the brake and the weight transfer to get the back to rotate. I can get on the gas to rotate the back. I know exactly what the car is going to do all the time. My car did not have this much feel and especially confidence in its stock form, that's for sure. Yeah, this is awesome. It's definitely more grip than brakes. All right, so final thoughts about the tires. You can probably hear it's raining, and it's not often I get to do a track test on a tire test and test them in the rain. So for starters, before it rained, when I would go into a corner real fast, and the unbalanced Genesis with its probably not fully matching brake power would get squirmy, but the tires would control it and I'd be able to feel it. And now that I'm in the rain a bit, I can produce a little bit of oversteer, but then the tires will catch it. There we go, a little more. It's really hard to break those two 75s in the back loose. Man, there's so much grip, even in these conditions. So I said it when I first put the tires on, but now that it's been, well, about a month, I gotta say, there really has been no trade-offs with these lower profile, larger wheels. Maybe there's a bit more road noise, but I don't really think there is. I just can't remember how much there was before. Comfort, at least as good, if not better. Grip, well, obviously way better. And what performance is better? Mainly because my car is so highly geared in the rear end, and there's a lot of low end torque for how little power this engine makes. It was really easy to spin the inside rear wheel. Wet, snow for sure, and the dry even, gravel for sure. These tires, it's a lot harder. It has to be very wet out for me to get one of the rear tires to spin a bit. So for day-to-day driving in the city, in the country, on the highway, these tires have been great. Track better on the highway, a little more grip, just as comfortable. I just feel more confident. It may just be a psychological thing knowing I have new tires on that should have a lot of grip as opposed to some that we're getting on in their years. But yeah, I just feel like this is a better setup now. Street, track, dry or wet, I've pretty much tested everything that the Firestone Indy 500 is designed to do. It's a good value for how much performance you get out of this tire. Is it the best performing tire? No, but it's also priced a lot less than some similarly performing tires. And it's really well suited for something like this, a low priced, fun, everyday vehicle. And after a day of lapping, I mean, I didn't get as many laps in as I'd like because of the weather. The tires are showing like no wear. I could have probably beat on them for several hours before they started to really show signs of abuse. They're really good tires in the sense of durability. If you have a dedicated track tow, you probably want to get something higher end, maybe not even street legal. But if you need a tire that can get you to work, rain or shine, all summer long, and maybe do some autocross or lapping days on the side, the Firestone Indy 500 should definitely be on your shopping list.